let us move along to our next guest. Great to talk to her, as always, on this program. A lot to talk to Holly Holm about, so let us not keep her waiting any longer. Let's go to the phone lines now and say hello to the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm, who's standing by. Holly, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you, as always. Okay, so there's a lot to talk to you about, but first, I'd be remiss if I don't ask you about Saturday, because you had a connection to both fighters, Cris Cyborg, who you just fought, and, of course, Yana Kunitskaya, a teammate of yours. What did you think about the fight?
I mean, we all know Cyborg's a strong fighter. She hits hard and she's always kind of aggressive. And Yana, I mean, until the end of the fight, Yana she had some good moments. She had a takedown, got on top. She was kind of controlling the cage and took her back. So it's not that it was all bad for Yana. I think that she had some moments and things she's going to learn from the fight, and just go forward. When the fight's over, all you can do is learn from it and move forward. So, I have respect for both of them, and just, I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I think about all my fights that I always want to avenge my losses, and it's something that I want, I want to fight. I want that fight back. I know it's a lot of work, and the biggest fighter in all the, women's divisions of the UFC, but it's also one of those that I feel like I can do it, and I want to do it again, but I don't know. It's not, like I said, fighters fight. Yana had some moments in there, and I know that she'll be able to learn. That's a big fight to take on your UFC debut.
Did she come to you a lot it wasn't a lot of time to prepare for someone like Cyborg, and I feel for her, because, as I've said a bunch of times, it's such a tall task to debut in a title fight in a main event against someone like Cyborg. You could fight in front of 800 people at Invicta, but this is a different beast, as you know. Did she lean on you a lot going into this? Did you try to help her out mentally, how to prepare for this experience?
We're mostly just real good training partners. I just tried to be there every day, be a sparring partner for her, be a grappling partner for her. There's not a lot of girls our size. Obviously, we're the only two girls at that weight. So I just tried to make myself accessible to whatever she would need to help. And I had her whole training camp. I was a righty, so kind of different type of training, just be like a righty the whole time, but it was kind of fun and helped me to evolve as a fighter as well. I tried to give her the best look I could. But, we have a lot of teammates at the gym that she, trained with as well, just trying to give her a good look. And, like you said, it is a big fight to take, just to be a main event on pay-per-view for your first UFC fight alone is a big deal, much less against, the big unbeatable fighter that's out there and up in a weight class that's not even your normal weight class, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things that you kind of have to mentally overcome to even get in the cage there. And she still had some good moments, but I know that she'll be a better fighter for it going forward, and we'll see what happens with her future.
It sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, like here we are a little over 2 months later, and the Cyborg fight is the one that keeps your fire going. Is that a dream opportunity for you? Is that the number one sort of thing at the top of the list? You'd love that rematch?
I would definitely want that rematch, but I'm not. It's not something I'm putting, all my thought into. I don't even think that could be my next fight. I bet you it'll be something else. I don't know what it might be. Maybe 135, maybe 145. I'm really not putting too much into it, thinking it's got to be one way or the other. But I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things that I always want to beat the unbeatable, I guess. And yeah. So, yes, that always kind of drives me a little bit.
Have you thought about which weight class you'd prefer fighting at, 145 or 135?
No, whatever. I mean, obviously I feel like I'm the bigger fighter at 135, but at 145, it's like so much less stress without, worrying about every, meal, diet, and cutting weight's like super easy, and, it kind of takes that stress away. But, so honestly, there's like pluses and minuses with either one, and I'm open to either.
Have you watched the Cyborg fight yet? Your fight against Cyborg at 219?
No, no,
You haven't.
no. When I get back into training camp, I probably will. I mean, I've seen clips here and there. I know that a lot of the clips are just, highlights of her hitting me because this is hyping for this fight. But I know I had some good moments, and there's a couple times. I know that there's a couple times that I hit her with some good solid shots, and I do felt like, like in the clinch that I was doing some good things, and there's always something to build on, but it always takes me a little while to go back and watch my fight too.
What do you without watching, I'm sure you remember so much of it. What do you wish you did differently in that fight?
Well, I can't tell you all of that because if I get a
Oh,
rematch, I'll
okay.
be able to do it. But I mean, there are a couple things just basic things. It's just I just wish I would have been more active in situations that I maybe was controlling, and but every fight is different too, and there's things that I have goals of what I want to get better on, but I definitely don't want to just think about that either, because even though it would be a rematch with this, if her and I got a rematch, it still would be a different fight. No two fights are exactly the same, even
Right.
if it's because people go back the second time thinking, well, this is what I'm going to change this time. And so a fight really doesn't go the same way every time.
Do you take some solace in the fact that you were the first person to go the distance with her in around 9 years? Like, is that a feather in your cap, or do you not really care?
Well, one thing that I guess it's not the 5 rounds I went with her. It's that I gave her a competitive 5 rounds. I think that is more something that I know that I'm proud about, I guess. I know it was her toughest fight, really, I guess. Um, but the way I look at it, I still, when I think about my fight, I still walked away with a loss. So there's really not that much pride I have about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And
To
I
me, a
should
win
know.
is pride.
Go ahead. Sorry.
To me, the win is the pride. I didn't take the fight just to make it 5 rounds.
Right.
I took it because I wanted to win. And so, yeah, I know that I was the toughest fight. And it's like, well, I know I did that. And so there's like a little bit of, okay, well, I know I was the toughest fight. But that's not what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the one to beat her.
And I should know, first one to go 5 rounds. She hadn't gone the distance in 9 years, but that wasn't a 5 round fight. So that's another, little feather in your cap as well. But I understand what you're saying about the win. I asked you this question before that fight in Brooklyn a little over a year ago. And I'm sure, and this is not a concern, or at least of great concern to you, but is it a little surprising that other than Cyborg, they haven't really built out that division? Like there's really no other true 145ers who are actively competing in the UFC. Do you think that's a little strange?
Yeah, I think maybe they don't really want to, I don't know. But I think that maybe they don't really want to have to promise that many fighters, and add more to the roster. I think they just kind of want to do just kind of one at a time. I mean, Cyborg's obviously the one that everybody wonders will anybody ever beat her, and so I think they just kind of keep it based around that and try and see who will take the fight. Um, but I think that it'd be, you know, when you start to build a division around it and you actually start to bring people in, that's going to create a competition and a goal, and that can change a lot of things, rather than just keeping like the one person there and just kind of like singly bringing in one from opponent from here, or one from there, one from there. I guess there's not really a 145-pound division. There's just every now and then there's a title fight for the 145-pound belt.
Right, exactly. It's the Cris Cyborg division.
Yeah.
She, we haven't heard much from you. You've kind of laid low since the fight, and understandably so. But I'm just wondering, considering you've been fighting for so long, did what happened at 219 force you to sort of evaluate your career and how much longer you want to do this?
A lot of people are asking me, they say, oh, you've had 4 out of 5 losses, 4 out of 5 fights or losses, and, you're 36 and are you going to retire now? And it's like, I mean, I still want to fight. That's the bottom line. there's some people that say, oh, wow, you're the only one that actually took her that far. And then there's others that say, oh, you're going to retire. And I'm like, well, why would I want to retire when I just gave her the toughest fight she's had too, you know what I mean? And in a weight class that's the heavier weight class from what I usually fight, and against the biggest, person, like, I was still the one to give her the toughest fight. So I don't really understand the retirement. People think, should you retire? Maybe it's just because of the way that, the 4 fights have gone, but it's, I don't see it that way. I know that I still am competitive and have a lot of capabilities, and I still want to do it. So I definitely don't have this, obviously every year gets like a little bit more like, well, maybe I see it kind of coming closer. I'm 36. I'll be 37 this year, but I still feel like I'm strong and in competitive shape. I don't feel 36, I feel competitive and I feel strong, and I feel like I can really do well still. So I'm going to keep going with it.
The retirement questions, I get the sense they annoy you.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I don't blame you. It's like, imagine someone coming up to anyone who's working in any industry. Are you thinking about calling it quits? And it's not like you're 60 years old. So it's a bizarre thing in sports
I
where
think it depends on how they say it too. It's like, oh, how much longer do you think you're going to do this? Like that's different. But the ones that are like, gosh, you're 36. Like, are you gonna, retire? Are you gonna do this? It's like I remember my sister-in-law. Like 3 kids. Sometimes people will be like, wow, they're on their 3rd kid. It's like, yeah, that's what they want to do with their life. Like, what's wrong with that? Because she had 3 kids like in a row. That's like all her kids are going to be like buddies and be able to grow up together and be friends together. But a lot of people are like, wow. Like my mom said the same thing when she was pregnant with me. Like a lot of people are like, wow, you're having a 3rd kid already. Like, why would you do that? It's like, why are you asking someone that when they're already pregnant? They have a
sure.
3rd baby on their way.
Yeah.
So I'm still fighting. Obviously, this is what I want to do. I think that it's weird that there's so many people out there that look at people's lives in that okay, just last night, one of our teammates just posted this quote from Heath Ledger. I'd never seen it before, and I love it.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay,
He
please.
says, it's exactly how I feel in life with everything. So I have it right here on my phone. I kept it. I don't keep many quotes. That's how much I like this one.
All right.
So it says, everyone you meet always asks if you have a career, are married, or own a house, as if life was some kind of grocery list, but nobody ever asks you if you're happy. And that's totally how life is sometimes. Oh, are you married? You have a house here? It's like what it is. It's like, is this a grocery list? Like, are you just checking stuff off? Like, I want to live day to day and I want to live by passion. And right now, I still want to fight, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm not promised to even live tomorrow. Anything can happen in life, so I'm just going to do what I feel like doing right now.
So let me ask you, are you happy?
I am. There's always things in life that are like struggles and things that are frustrating. And in my career life, yes, I'm very brokenhearted right now because I'm coming off of a loss. But with that being said, I can't ever feel anything but blessed. I have so many good people around me in my life, and I still have this team that's awesome, and I still have goals and dreams that I want to shoot for. I think a lot of people in life don't even know what their passion might be, and I feel fortunate and blessed to have a passion because I feel a purpose. So that makes me happy.
Just curious, has the UFC even contacted your management, like saying, oh, we have this plan for her next, we want her to do this, that? Has anything been brought to your attention since the fight?
Lenny's talked to them a little bit, and I kind of just told them, yeah, I'm going to be ready to fight pretty soon, but usually I'm like, what's next right away? And this is the first time I said, I think I probably just need like a month or 2 to just kind of not stress about a fight. I still want to train, enjoy training, all that, but there's some fighters that are really active, some that aren't. I'm usually a pretty active fighter, and I'm usually never like, oh, just let me. I was like, it wasn't that it was because of the last fight. It was just, I don't know. I just felt like, what, give me like a month or 2 to not have like that deadline, the goal, that weight on my shoulders. It's not even that long, just 2 months to just kind of take care of some things and kind of catch up on my life outside of fighting. And I'm already getting kind of that ache again. I was in the gym a lot since my last fight already. I was back within 2 weeks. I was already back training because I just wanted to keep evolving and getting better. And then sure enough, after a little bit of time, Yana had to fight with Cyborg. And I was training with her anyway because they had talk of an earlier fight card with her that she possibly was going to be fighting a girl that was actually a lefty. And so I was kind of in there just for that purpose. So I've kind of just been in the gym anyway, but it's been nice to train for fun.
Yeah.
And without training, I always enjoy training for the most part, but getting close to a fight when you have to go in and really focus on your opponent and the deadline and your diet and everything like that, it's like I like to eat healthy anyway. The diet's not that stressful, but I'm just saying it's just a lot of different elements when you're actually in training camp to when you're not. And so I've just kind of been enjoying my training.
Do you enjoy, like, just based off your Instagram, your social media? It seems like sometimes we have you guys in boxes, like you're fighters and you're always hanging out with fighters, but you obviously have a life outside of fighting and you have friends outside of fighting. And sometimes it's like, wow, Holly likes to cook, or Holly, like you're not, you know what I mean? Do you sometimes need that break from the gym to not be sort of flooded with all things fighting? Is that healthy for you?
You know what? I if I'm not in the gym, there isn't a week that goes by that I don't at least go to the gym. But right now, I guess, and always in between fights, I kind of just try and change it up a little bit. Right now, I'm doing a little bit more yoga and strength training, so I can go see different faces and get a benefit from different types of training. Because I may not have time for as much of that when I get back into a fight camp. And that way I don't ever feel, I think mine is more, I don't ever want to feel like my training is too monotonous to where I don't get up for a fight, I don't want to feel like burnt out by the time I even start a training camp. So I kind of try to keep a little bit of a different schedule in between. Yes, I still will do something MMA related once a day.
Okay.
But it's not like I'm going to spar in the morning and then go back in the afternoon and grapple and go back for another private. It's like I'll probably go to practice in the morning, and then maybe instead of going back, to the gym for something else, I might go for a run and go to yoga, or go, I've been doing, I only do like 2 days a week of strength training when I have a fight coming up. And even the closer to a fight, I actually, with the last couple of weeks, I don't really do any more strength training. At that point, lifting weights your last week of hard training isn't going to make you stronger for the fight. It's probably just going to break your muscles down. So, but right now is the time to try and maybe build some strength a little bit. Not that I'm trying to bulk. I just want to have some, just inner strength. And so I've been doing, I don't know, just a little bit more of that. A little yoga, a little Pilates, and just changing it up.
And by the way, I have to ask, have you been compelled to watch Ronda Rousey in WWE? Have you checked her out?
I haven't watched anything yet, but I will. Why not? A lot of people ask me too, like, would you ever do something like that whenever you're done fighting? And I'm like, why not? It's like in life, but why not go ahead and take on every, possibility that you have and any kind of like experience you can get. So Ronda going to do that, why not? I'm sure
Yeah.
she's probably having fun with it,
So is that something that you will try to, like, do you have an interest in pro wrestling?
Oh, who knows?
Okay.
I never really know what. Gosh, I look at my whole career and it's like, when I very first fought, I just kind of wanted to see what it was like. I didn't ever even think I'd really be pro. And then when I turned pro, I didn't think I'd really fight for a title. And then when I fought for a title, I didn't think I'd defend it so many times. And then when I was doing that, I didn't really think I was going to do MMA. And then when I was in MMA, I thought, I had these like small goals, but I look back at like the journey that these small goals have taken me on. Who knows where I'll be? So when people ask me about it, I guess I'm not going to say I'll never do it, but I'm not going to say that it's something that is in my plan right now because my goals right now still are just in MMA.
So Holly Holm is going to go out of her way and watch Ronda Rousey's WrestleMania debut in April. Is that accurate?
I'm going to do it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. See, that just shows the kind of person that you are. That's great. I'm happy to hear that, and good to catch up with you as always, Holly. Thank you very much for stopping by. Last
Thank
thing,
you.
do you have a month that you want to come back? Is there a time frame yet, or you haven't even thought of that yet?
Oh, I definitely don't want to be like too long. You
Okay.
know, speaking of age, it's not like I will be 37 this year. So, but look at Andre. He's 39, I think it is. He just had a big win this last weekend. So I guess it's all how you take care of your body too. But
Yep.
you know, I don't know. Maybe in the summer. Hope so. I mean, we're already in March, so hopefully it'll come. Something will come soon.
All right. Well, we wish you the best, Holly. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for your
taking the
time.
time
I
as always.
appreciate it.